Well, and the microphone will sound good, but there'll be a doubling
Yeah.
effect with my voice probably,
All right.
which will be too bad. Oh, it'll pick up you too.
Yeah. Which is great. We're,
And
we're starting and we're live. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
we're like, oh, good, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good
Um,
to see you.
we we're guessing it's possible that no one at all will show up to this,
I'm actually kind
which
of
will be
counting
par for
on
the
that.
course.
Yeah. I'm
You're
banking
counting
on
on
that.
nobody showing up?
I'm banking on it. I
Oh
just
man.
assume nobody listens to these, which makes it more comfortable to speak truthfully.
Oh, you know what you should do is you should tweet out to Annex. Hey, Paul and Ben are talking live on this Zoom. Come
Yeah,
here, so that then
come
other
hither.
people who are following you can also show up. Yeah.
I could
It's worth
probably
a shot. You never
put
know.
it
Oh,
on.
look, Edward's here.
Hey, there's a dog. The internet loves dogs.
Yep, that's the sound that you keep hearing whenever I'm making kissing noises. It's me doing that.
Looks like he
The
enjoys it.
inside of his ears smell weird. By the way, I do this a lot. Some people smell the top of their baby's head. I
The
I
inside of
smell
your
the
dog's
inside of
ear.
Edward's ears.
It's my
Yeah,
parents. My parents always
it's
seem to
a
have.
nice smell.
My parents always seem to have pets that have ear issues, and so they're constantly putting ointments inside their pets' ears.
Mm-hmm.
Ear infections are popular in the Lawrence household.
Oh no, I had an ear infection when
Not
I was a kid.
not for humans, for
Oh,
pets.
I should bring this up because there was an episode of Benson. I believe it was Benson.
Starring Robert
Pretty sure it
Guillaume.
was Benson. Yes, starring Robert Guillaume. Who there's this weird thing where I'm watching it and an ear infection was a thing, like it was a punchline. Maybe it's an ear infection. And everyone who was saying it to me in my young kid brain sounded like they were saying maybe it's a near infection. Near infection, like
Right.
something that was almost an infection but wasn't.
Right.
And I had forgotten all about it, and then I remembered it when watching Party Down. You remember Party Down?
I do not. What's Party
TV show?
Down?
Party Down. It's a catering. Adam Scott was in it. Who's from the state? I want to dip my balls in it.
Thomas
Ken Marino.
Oh, okay.
And it was and one of the clones of Zoe Deschanel. I don't remember which one.
Like an actress that looked
they're
like
a
Zoe
group
Deschanel.
They're a group of actresses, and there was a theory that they were all the same person, which is of course untrue.
Some sort
But she
of
was one of the people that they mentioned.
Island of Dr. Moreau Zoe Deschanel mutation.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there was a photo spread of all of them at one point in time that was making the rounds. And I don't remember if it was. I think one iteration of them. I could be wrong about this, but I think one iteration of them either had all of the women named, but they were all pictures of one of them, or the other way around. They said, "Look at all these pictures of one person." It was actually all 6 of them, or something. I don't remember. But Zoe Deschanel was one of those.
I would look up who this is, or who all these other actresses are, but that's against the rules of the show.
Yeah, and we are still doing the show, even though we're on a Zoom call. Oh, this is important. Calling for Betty could be a Zoom call for sure.
Does
she zoom in
give her
to the
consent to be on the show visually?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. We could also do it, and she could just be right here outside the pod.
Slightly
that
off
might
screen.
be smarter.
Yeah.
I like it.
Have we talked since they made the call on Saturday? I don't think we have. Was that just last Saturday?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. It seem like forever?
It does. I know.
So
last week was a whole year.
I think, Ben, haven't we talked about this exact scenario for a very long time.
Since
That of
even
course,
before Trump was elected the first time.
yeah. I mean, it's just as a ball of chaos, this planet that we're on, it makes sense that all the way up until Biden actually occupies the White House, I think we're going to have this thing where some of America decides that Donald Trump is still president, and that some of America may only be Donald Trump at some point.
But that some of
But
America,
right now, that
that some of America is
yeah, go
also
ahead.
71 million people that voted for him.
Yeah, yeah, true. But the thing is that I think some people that voted for him would agree that he shouldn't be president now. I think there are some people who
Yes.
voted for him who actually
Who were like, you lost, dude, get out.
believe in the
Democracy?
election. Yeah, I actually, I actually will go on record now with one of my patented Paul crazy ideas. Um, I think it's possible that if Donald Trump does not, agree that he lost the election, at some point in time, violence may be done to him by one of his supporters. And what I mean by that is that there may be some unhinged person who believes in Donald Trump, but also by, QAnon madness and all that kind of stuff, gets it into their head that Donald Trump wants them to attempt to assassinate him. I know that sounds crazy, but this is just it popped into my head yesterday. I was like, "Oh, I should tell Ben about that." And
Well,
I
yeah.
don't. And the reason I think about it is this: the if you think about, okay, as an example, is it Mark David Chapman? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Who's
the
the guy who
guy who
shot John
killed
Lennon?
John Lennon. Yeah, Mark David Chapman.
He liked John Lennon,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah, it
I
was.
think he did.
There's a whole Catcher in
Uh,
the Rye influence here, where like John Lennon, I think either he was or he became a phony. And so you know what, I read about all this when I was in high school, but I haven't revisited it, so I don't know exactly why. I do
you
know that
got you
he's
got
still in prison, and every time his parole comes up, they deny it.
Now, I don't think that Hinckley was a fan of Reagan, so that one doesn't work. But
He's a fan of
like
Jodie
Bjork
Foster.
had some guy who tried to uh, set a bomb on her, who was a big fan of hers. There's a weird thing when you get into high level cult of personality stuff, where the people that the fanatical supporters of you can become violent. And I think he's courting a group that it can really turn against you if you're not careful.
Yeah, because he is
So,
courting the gun-toting,
yeah,
the proudly gun-toting group. I saw this meme, of course, because we all communicate by memes these days, where people were like, or this meme said, "I'm a proud liberal and I own guns, but I don't parade it around the Dairy Queen like a man baby," that kind of thing. So I'm not saying that only
yeah.
Republicans and only Trump supporters own guns, but they're the ones who I think would probably use it against, as you're speculating here, against one of their own.
Hey, while we're here in video,
Yeah.
can you see how one of my eyes is higher than the other?
Is your head tilted?
You see what I'm talking about? No,
Uh,
it's not. It's not. It's straight up
one
and
of
down.
your one. I got to look at the big screen here. One of your eyes is higher than the other. Is it
Yep.
your left eye?
I'm gonna point
Okay,
to
that's
the
not
eye
what I
that's
thought
higher
was
than
your
the other.
left eye.
I think. Wait. Okay. Well, hold on. You see, my face is kind of.
Well,
Let me
everybody's
get
face is
closer.
slightly asymmetrical.
Oh yeah. But mine's special because it's me.
Because it's you. Yeah.
Anyway, a narcissist
You're
walks into a bar.
you're unique, just like
I don't
everybody
know why I
else.
was. Yeah, yeah. I have mentioned schizotypal personality disorder stuff on TikTok a little bit because I think it's an interesting thing that not there's a lot of ADHD stuff on there already, but not a lot of the thing that I said to them, and I'm going to tell it to you. You already know this because you deal with me on a regular basis. Um, you have to remind yourself that certain things aren't true. That's
Right.
that's the big thing.
Right.
I'll say, like, so if I'm driving home and there's a car that's making all the turns that I am, uh, I have to remind myself, oh, no, that guy's not following me. And that's the thing.
Do you
People
some
think of suspicious stuff as being, oh, I wonder if that guy's following me. But that's not the way it works.
do you
You
sometimes
assume the guy's following you. Oh, go ahead.
do you sometimes follow somebody turn for turn and you think to yourself, "Why am I following this guy?"
So close, Ben. Sometimes I think I better do something to indicate to this person that I'm not following them.
I'm going to go the long way home
Usually
just
I'm
so
able
they're
to
not
stop myself
suspicious.
before
Yeah.
I do sometimes turn off a way that I'm normally, especially if I have GPS. That way, they don't think that I'm following them. I better make sure this person knows I'm not following them by honking and pointing at them so that they know I'm not following you. We don't do that, but it's a possibility. Um, so yeah, we most likely will be in this state of flux all the way until January, probably.
Yeah, in fact,
Because
our governor here in Washington is addressing the state in about an hour and 15 minutes from now.
mm-hmm.
Rumor has it he's not going to implement new COVID shutdowns, but he's probably going to announce that he's going to do that.
Okay,
So nothing like, I think
yeah.
the hair salons can stay open today. The, non-essential activities can stay open, but get your haircut now because if things keep trending the way they are going by
Yeah.
this time next week, we're going to have to do what we did back in March, April.
I feel as though, yeah, I mean, we're higher now, at least in Illinois, higher now than we ever were. Like we're at the highest peak so far.
Yeah. And
Um,
some people keep saying, "Oh, we're in the second wave," and I've heard the scientists say, "No, this is still the first wave."
oh, there's just a pause between. Oh, that's interesting. Ugh. Um, so I feel as though um the whole demonization of the media that's happened at least for the last 4 years, even before that, was all a setup for this moment. Because if that groundwork hadn't been laid, when the AP says Joe Biden wins, everybody, I mean, this is the thing about elections, right? It's all agreement. It's all us. It's like money. We all agree that money has value, so it has value. Same thing with the elections. We all agree Joe Biden is now the president. Oh, wait. Sorry, there's also the Electoral College and all the actual legal stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, smooth transition to power is that everyone goes, okay, well, I guess that's happening.
Yeah.
The other person says, yeah, that's happening. And then we're all good. We're not set up for someone to say, it's like when you get shot as a kid and then you're like, oh, I'm not dead. I have a bulletproof vest. And then the other kid says, well, I've got a gun that shoots through bulletproof vest, and we keep
Right.
doing it and we never get anywhere. There has to be agreement. And that agreement is not happening
But it's also not
at this
consistent.
point.
It's also not consistent. Alaska
Oh,
was
sure.
called. Alaska was called. The AP called Alaska for Trump, and you didn't hear him saying, "I'm sending my lawyers to Alaska." You know. So
Right. Well,
it's
he obviously he's only gonna yes. I mean, and this is I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the I mean the obvious thing. Yes, of course. He's only going to care about
yeah,
stuff that benefits him.
right.
Um
And has been, yeah, like you said,
that
laying
is
that groundwork for the last 4 years.
yep, exactly. Ready to so that no one trusts the authorities, and I'm labeling journalism as an authority in this case. What do they call it? The fifth estate? Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the idea is that the press is part of a democracy
It will.
of itself.
It is fun seeing everybody sort of abandon Fox News in such a intense fashion right now because they were one of the ones that called certain states for Biden. They said,
Yeah.
Joe Biden's the president-elect, and Trump is just not having any of it. The current rumor today is that if once he's out of office, he's going to start up his own digital media empire, which will be a safe
Of course
space
he
for
is.
conservatives. Yeah.
Why wouldn't he? Cash in.
As long as there's money to be made.
Yeah, it is going to happen. I think that's probably going to be true. I talked to your friend Zach Lewis recently,
Oh yeah, Zach
and
Lewis.
he mentioned that that he is a moderate, and I made a joke. He was saying that it's hard for moderates to deal with progressives, and I made a joke saying, "Well, what you got to do is stop being a bootlicker and get over on my side, buddy."
Was that a joke?
But
or was that truth hidden in sarcasm?
Well, here's I don't. I'm really hard to pin down politically because I'm stupid sometimes. I get caught up in things and I lose sight of the big picture. So obviously, I think I've made the joke before. We want the drone strikes where the person says they're sorry afterwards. That
right.
In the United States, in general, there are some people that love it when we don't say sorry and are gung ho for us to. But eventually, we swing back to the point where we may be disingenuous when we say we're sorry, but we at least say it.
Do we though?
That's sort of what we like.
There's a certain
as a country
subset of our population, a growing one, that considers that sort of thing to be a sign of weakness.
Yeah, of course. And the thing I would say to that is that we don't want to necessarily make that segment of the population any stronger, for sure. And so moving more back towards the center, even though the center itself might be turning right a little bit,
a little bit
is probably fine. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing that who made that joke? Forget.
Lewis Black.
Somebody talking
Mitch
about
Hedberg,
how
George Carlin.
No. Somebody on
Regan.
I think it was just
David Letterman.
a person on TikTok saying that if people were going to leave the United States, if Biden and Harris actually do become the leaders in the executive branch, that they would go to Canada.
Good luck getting in.
Which is, or Canada or wherever. And the thing that they pointed out is that Biden and Harris are further right than almost any other country that people are talking about moving to.
You go into Canada, you're getting your socialist health care. I hope you like that because that seems to be one of the things that you don't like.
Yeah. Well, they'll like it. Here's the thing. This goes back to the thing I was talking about, where socialism, uh, if it's enacted, is for the people who hate socialism.
Right.
It's for everybody,
Helps
right?
everybody.
And once they get it, they like it. Medicare, Medicaid, all that kind of stuff.
But
Oh no, I don't like it. I hate it.
we've demonized it
They
so
say.
much. It's been the boogeyman, equated with communism,
Yep.
and all of my right-leaning friends are like, "Well, look at Venezuela. Venezuela is terrible right now. The inflation is horrible, and it's a communist country. Do you want to be like Venezuela?" And but I see that all the time.
Isn't Venezuela doing poorly partially because of
American
are we
intervention.
doing something with them and oil? I think.
There's a
I think
long
that might
and
be we might
rich
have sanctions
history.
against them or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Here's the thing. This is true
claim to know everything.
because I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I learned Spanish though,
If you know, email us at
I'm really interested
bensemail@yahoo.com at gmail.com.
Hey, speaking about which, are there any corrections that came in?
There are none.
No corrections. And no people in the Zoom, Ben. We're at the 21-minute mark.
Oh, they wouldn't be in the Zoom. They'll be
21-minute mark.
They'll be on the YouTube or on the Facebook, and I've been watching both of those, and nobody's commented yet. So if you're watching, send us a comment.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They're gonna be coming. Wait, is anybody even watching though?
One person, I think.
Hey, hello, whoever you are. Thank you for
It might be
watching.
It might be McCandless. He turned me on to he reminded me of this a Google phone number where you can have a call-in number. So it's for a upcoming annex project, but could have also been used for like the GudeLaurance call-in show where you call this number and we'll put the number on the screen there. Call this number and chat with us. Don't call the number we put up last week. Call the number we're putting up this week.
prior to tomorrow's the next podcast, we have the number and we mail the number out and have people call in, and we don't do a Zoom. Uh-oh.
We could do a lot, but that requires effort. Oh.
Edward's barking at Betty.
Every time.
Look at that.
That's an angry little dog there.
I remind you that Edward was originally brought into our family as a companion animal for Betty to be an emotional support dog for her. And now he barks at her every time she enters a room or says
tough
anything.
Love. It's tough love.
And it's my fault because, well, it's not my fault. But it's a hey Jennifer. We're doing a Zoom. And no one's here except for me and Ben. It's par for the course.
Well, I didn't hand out the Zoom link.
Why did I think that was the thing that we talked about this already last time? Look, this is me. You're seeing me remember in real time. We talked about this, and that people would be asking questions in the chat.
Yeah.
In the chat, they would be asking questions.
In the chat on the YouTube or on the Facebook, but not on the Zoom.
Yep. Right. They would not be popping up onto the Zoom itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Boy, oh boy. I gotta say, Ben,
Paul.
we're getting to the point now where it was November and it was 70 degrees outside in Illinois. Did it get that warm like last week? After the last podcast, for a stretch of time, it was like in the 70s out here.
Oh, just last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is.
Was it that warm in Seattle during
Oh
that
God,
time?
no! It's cold. I'm freezing. I had the heat on earlier, and I'm the only one in the building. I felt a little guilty about that, but not so much.
Yeah, I have a little space heater now that I keep down here in the basement. But yeah, it's cold now. I think it was I want to say Wednesday when it went from being 70 to 40, and there were storms and stuff like that.
Overnight. Yeah.
Um,
My apartment is
yeah,
cold too.
it's pretty crazy.
I've been in my place for like 5.5 years now, and I've turned my heat on probably 3 times.
Hey, what's your address, Ben? What's your no?
But I'm
Here's the
considering.
thing. I was about to. Here's what I was about to say. Oh, is that the place by? And then I was going to name a landmark. But I didn't.
No.
But is it a place that? Wait, 7 or 8? You said 7 or 8 years. Is that right? Is that what you said?
No, about 5.5.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that makes more sense, because I think you moved right after I
Yeah, you
left.
you've never been there.
This is water, by the way.
Yeah, you left in October of 2014. I moved in April of 2015. So the entire
Gosh, you had to
time,
move twice.
the entire time I was cleaning out your house, I was driving in from Wallingford.
Oh man, and sorry, that made a great noise, by the way. When I dropped it onto the table.
We were just talking about your place. Cole and I were talking to somebody about John Dies at the... Oh, we were talking to Scotto about the book and the movie John Dies at the End. And Cole mentioned that he found that book at your house when he was helping me clean it out. And I'm like, you stole from Paul?
Ah.
And no, but it was after all of your stuff had already been moved out and everything left in the house was up for grabs.
Yeah. I wonder if Jennifer knows that, because I think that was her book.
I think one of the I remember you saying put books in the box.
Once you got married, yeah.
I think one of the instructions was the put all the books in the box, but this book might have been like hidden or not on a bookshelf or something. So for whatever reason, it got left behind. Much like your copy of Left Behind. The big thing I was going to say
is that, hey, yeah, on DVD starring Nicolas Cage. No, what I was going to say is that
Kirk Cameron.
I was like, I think that's Jennifer's book. It is interesting. When you get married, there are still your book and my book, at least for us. Like there are some books that are definitely hers and some that are definitely mine, and then you have blended books that are kind of, half and half. Well, but for instance, Hyperbole and a Half upstairs, Jennifer's book, not my book. That kind of thing.
And this isn't the books that were purchased like before versus after you guys got together.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is that we do occasionally go, oh, we should get that book. But then at that time, lots of times when Jennifer says we should get that book, I will buy that book for her as a gift, at some point in time.
No.
Am I going to read it eventually? Maybe, but for the most part, it's her book at that point. Just checking to see if she was listening.
Ellie Brosh just released of Hyperbole and a Half, just released a new book.
Oh,
I do not know what it's called, but I know that it's out there in the wild.
I want to say, I don't mean to start any drama here on the podcast, but who's that guy? He's a cartoonist who draws things that look almost exactly like Hyperbole and a Half. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea. But it's become
maybe it's better that I don't mention it.
It's become an oft mimic style.
Yeah. But there's a guy who became kind of famous, a cartoonist.
Hyperbole and 3/4.
I was no, but something, and it wasn't. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it's better, like I said, that I don't name who the person is, because I know that he is sensitive sometimes when it comes to. But anyway, the main thing is that when I saw it, I was like, it's not only, it's not only that drawing style, but it's also some of the same stuff. And I'm not saying that he took that and ran with it. I'm just saying I saw Hyperbole and a Half first,
Right.
and later on I saw that, and
Well,
get your money or whatever.
that might
But
be one of those things where, like, maybe that's his drawing style, and they just happen to come on the scene at the same time.
yeah, and then people are like, "Oh, more of the stuff that I like." That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe he was always drawing that way, and then yeah, possible. I also got um a keyboard recently called the Mini Brute or the Micro Brute. I'm sorry.
A QWERTY keyboard
It's
or a
and
musical keyboard?
musical keyboard. And one of my pet peeves, and I forgot about this, are monosynths. I like polysynths because I like to hit two keys at once and have them make a noise. And I didn't check to see if it was a polysynth or a monosynth. It's a monosynth.
I did not realize that was a thing.
But I kept it because it's still good. And yeah, a monosynth is you use it to make like bass lines and things like that. But the big thing is that it's a analog synthesizer. So you can make really crazy noises. And I think that's why it's a monosynth, because of the amount of control you have over the sounds. I could be wrong, but I think that's why. But it made me get out a lot of my other equipment, like the mixing board that you mailed back to me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, the one that I had for years and years, taking up space in my house, which I never used.
Yep. And I moved it all into the living room. And I'm starting to now whittle it down a little bit. But one of the big things is that I'm missing a drum machine. I still need a drum machine. And because I remembered that I gave my last drum machine to Richard Lefebvre after our Devo concert thing. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. You can have this drum machine.
I remember that story.
And so I called the local music shop and I was like, hey, do you have any drum machines? And I was like, no. They were like, I'm sorry. I was like, do you have any drum machines? They were like, no. So I was looking at one that I was going to buy. It's like $124, but I had to go get some cable. So I went there, and the drum machine that I was going to buy is sitting behind a glass counter at the music store, the same style. And I was like, hey, you said you didn't have any drum machines. And he says, oh, that belonged to a dead guy, which
therefore it
was
doesn't
confusing
exist.
at first, but he may not have said it the exact way that I put it. It might have been a little bit more, but basically it wasn't in their system because it's a consignment thing. Okay. So he didn't know that drum machine was there. And later on, he referred to it as a pedal. So I think that he wasn't exactly sure what it was that I was looking at. But anyway, they're selling it for $110. So $14 less. It's a little bit scuffed up, and it has no power supply. So I said, I'm not going to buy this without a power supply. And they said they would call me back if they ever found it. So we'll see if that ever actually happens. I hope it does. But I've been messing around with the music stuff again.
Yeah.
And I love playing the ukulele and singing. It's very cathartic. But I can get lost with two MIDI devices and just sitting there tweaking the sounds and listening to things, and all of a sudden an hour has gone by.
Sounds are endless. I thought that was going to be my problem when I picked up the Oculus Quest 2. Because I got it on Monday. Today's Thursday. And I thought for sure, like in the build-up to it, the anticipation, I was like, I'm going to go into the VR world, and I'm never coming out. I'm going to lose 3-4 hours at a time. But it turns out that I can only play games for maybe half hour, 45 minutes at a time before I have to get out. It's a combination of like the headset as shipped is not that comfortable, and also like I've never spent that much time in the virtual reality world, so I'm still getting kind of used to it. And so after playing a couple games where like one where like you were weightless. Like I got a little queasy, and I'm not normally prone to motion sickness.
Can you let me know what games you're playing? What games are you playing?
So there's a free game called Echo VR, which is sort of like frisbee soccer, I guess, where you're weightless, you're floating around, and you're trying to throw this disc into a goal. And that was like I went through the training that like how to there's a whole like game to tell you how to use the controls. And after that I'm like I'm done. I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna vomit. But I did pick up Super Hot, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there's this other game that I saw recommended on a YouTube channel because I just googled Oculus Quest games that are cool. And there's this game called Lies Beneath, which is a sort of horror adventure, but it's got a like real comic book aesthetic to it. So, and I've been really enjoying that. The problem is when because it's like a horror game, like there's some jump scares and you're shooting zombies and stuff. And every once in a while, I'll sit down to look at see if there's any more games I want. Also, I gotta kind of like cool it on buying $30 games every day. But
right.
But it seems like every game out there is a horror game. That seems to be the prevailing genre
to do.
Yeah,
for that sort of thing. So yeah, there are some other things. Gorn, Gorn.
Okay.
I recommend that one. You're in gladiatorial combat. It's pretty great. And there's also Swordsman VR, which is another gladiatorial combat thing. I think both of those are available for the Quest. I'm pretty sure.
I was thinking of picking up
those aren't. Yeah.
I was thinking of picking up Vader Immortal because like episode 1 is only $10.
Oh,
or Immortal
I hear
Vader.
good stuff
one of
about
those two.
that, actually.
I don't know. It's Star Wars.
Vader Immortal.
Yeah. You swing around a lightsaber, whatever. The problem is my my apartment, like the playing area is big enough, but my ceiling fan is right there, so I can't extend.
Oh no, that's right. I heard about it. Yeah.
Can't extend my arms too high.
You gotta take it off. Remove that ceiling fan, Ben.
Well,
get a wrench and
what I should do.
Explain to your landlord.
I'm not going to do that. What I should do is bring it
hey,
here
man,
to Annex.
Put this on. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you should. Especially if you're only doing it a half hour at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've talked about this before about bringing it to Annex, and I agree.
Yeah, no, there's there's part of the set and there's a bunch of stuff on stage right now, but the playing area is definitely, it's probably like 5 or 6 times larger than mine at home, and there's no ceiling fan.
So yeah. Hey, you at home, drinking game, go to rehab. No, I was gonna say, every time I scratch my head, I just realized I'm scratching my head a lot. It's a habit that I've had ever since I was a child.
An itchy head?
And that's the thing is it's not even necessarily itchy. I think I just like the texture of doing that.
Well.
So I don't know. It's weird. Also, Edward has still been here the whole time.
Hey, Edward. Give him a
Edward.
We should give him a co speaker credit because he has spoken on the show.
Yeah. Hey, Edward. What's that? My attorney suggests that he be given a co-speaker credit. Oh, so here's something. AMC. I got the AMC channel, right? Like it. It's great. Season 5 of Better Call Saul isn't on there that I can tell.
Is that the latest season
Better
that's
Call
already
Saul,
completed?
I don't think it's completed, but I mean, I'm paying for your app. Let me see your.
Well, no, I mean, but like they're between seasons right now. Was season 5 the last season?
Oh, sorry. I can purchase. This is the thing: is that there's a season of Better Call Saul that I could purchase if I wanted to from Amazon.
But it's not available on the AMC app.
That is not available on the AMC app.
Well, that's how they make their money.
That is correct. Yeah.
Probably when the new
Let's see.
season is probably when the new season starts airing. They'll make the previous
Well,
season free.
that's the crazy thing is now granted for this this comes from me browsing, but I don't remember seeing Breaking Bad on there either. It might be
Mm.
that the AMC app doesn't have all of the AMC catalog. Maybe Netflix has purchased it. You know what?
Better Call Saul is on
Better Call
Netflix.
Saul is on either Netflix or Prime, so that might be why.
It might be on
Might be
Prime.
why.
Sometimes those apps share
I get those
shows,
two confused.
but it is on Netflix.
Oh,
That's
hey,
how I watched
speaking
it.
there's a you know the show that goes wrong. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
It's a play from Great Britain, um, where it's sort of a murder mystery, but the people it's sort of like Noises Off in a way,
Okay.
where it's a murder mystery that the people who are putting it on don't do it that well. Uh, there, if that makes sense,
On
like you're having a
purpose.
fun time watching. Well, yes, that's right. That's right. It's a brilliantly written thing
Yeah.
that is supposed to be a straightforward murder mystery, but there's a lot of slapstick and things like
Right.
that in it. The reason I mention it is because on Prime right now, there's something that's called The Show Goes Wrong. Or no, The Goes Wrong. It's called The Goes Wrong Show.
Okay.
And it's those people, but they're putting on a bunch of different amateur plays every week. And it's pretty funny. They're some of it is bizarre, like weird choices that don't make sense. Like someone pretends that they're dead when they're not supposed to pretend like they're dead, and why they chose to do it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like so that's a problem. But there are other bits that had me howling in laughter, which I don't normally do when I watch TV.
And
So
it
I
was it,
recommend it. The Goes Wrong Show.
it's scripted, not improv.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of interesting British
Uh,
shows on Amazon Prime, there's a movie
yeah, yeah.
that Cole turned me on to called The Quartermass Experiment. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
It's
But it sounds familiar if that makes sense.
it's on Amazon Prime. It has a bunch of like British stars, Jason Fleming, David Tennant's in it. And what it
Ah,
is, it's
wait,
like
wait, wait,
a
wait, wait, wait. Do will this ruin anything for me
no.
if you tell me about what it is?
It's a
Okay.
sci-fi show that
Ah!
that aired live.
Ah! Yeah. Okay.
So it's a sci-fi show that aired live. And the interesting thing about it is it's very big and ambitious. And it's not like
Oh.
a live recorded stage show. They go to different locations, they do lots of these tracking shots. At one point during a scene, David Tennant's rounding a corner and he almost falls down, but because it's live, he has to keep going.
Ah.
On another scene, there's this big crane shot, and on the ground, you can see this camera crew, like a camera dude, and the person whose job it is to hold the cables, run up to the actors who are walking out of this warehouse, and then we cut to that shot. So they give the game away sometimes, but it's really interesting to see how much it's an hour and a half live show that was done in the early 2000s. It was like before David Tennant was Doctor
Wow.
Who.
I'll take a look because that does sound really interesting.
Yeah. The Quartermass Experiment.
Jason Fleming. Interesting cat, that Jason Fleming. Uh, have you ever watched the director's commentary for Snatch?
Long time ago, like when I first bought the DVD.
So in the director's commentary for Snatch, the director talks about how Jason Fleming, whenever he was in scenes with Brad Pitt, would just do stuff in order to get more screen time.
I vaguely
Like he'd
remember
pretend
that.
to
Yeah.
say something to David Prince. And the thing that I couldn't tell, and I still can't tell, were they being serious or were they, taking the piss,
as they say.
As they say? How much of a crazy guy is Jason Fleming to work with? Because I like him. I like his work. But he could be a real SOB. I don't know.
I've only seen him in Lock, Stock, and Snatch, and now The Quartermass Experiment. I'm not really familiar with all of his work.
He was in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I think that was playing at your house in White Center one time when we were all over there, and I never really paid attention to it.
Highland Park.
Sorry, Highland Park.
Not White Center. White Center is its own city, its own municipality or something.
All right.
You can buy fireworks in White Center. You can't buy fireworks
close enough without going over.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to go on another date? We'll pay for it.
Nope.
Oh, man, I wonder how that guy's doing. Ugh.
What guy?
That's Chuck Woolery.
Oh, right.
Famously conservative game show host who is called out in a Beastie Boys song, which is crazy.
Right.
Called out in I get women on TV with my man Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, I remember that there was a bit of a Twitter kerfuffle around.
Is he your man now? I don't think so.
But I don't care enough. I didn't care enough to
James
really commit it to memory. a hero to the conservative right, that James Woods. Because he's one of the few Hollywood stars. He's one of the few Hollywood stars that is blatantly openly Republican. Yeah, openly conservative.
Yeah. One of the things that happened, and don't quote me on this, but
you are being
James
recorded,
Woods
sir.
is still capable of. Damn, that's right. James Woods is still capable of being funny sometimes, which is hard when one becomes a conservative. I've noticed.
I haven't seen anything he's done.
Yeah,
lately.
I saw him do something funny. Here's the thing: you have to be able to, at least for a little bit, not take yourself seriously, and it's hard to do.
Right.
You have to be able to, and here's the thing: it might have just been at that time he was doing that, and I forget what it was that he was doing. But I remember being surprised and going, that was actually pretty funny. It was something horribly racist. I know it wasn't.
But it was hilariously racist.
It was great. I was thinking about what is the funniest racist thing I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
Michael Richards, I think.
I didn't watch that. Is it funny?
I'm not... No. I just mean Michael Richards in general.
As a performer.
Is the funniest racist thing that I've seen. It was a stupid joke, and I'm sorry, but
racist.
It is one of those things of where you look at him and you're like, oh, it's that guy. I love that, and then you think about what he did, and you're like, oh no. And then after that happened, I remembered an anecdote that he told on the Conan O'Brien show, where he pretended to be a cop because somebody had broken into his garage. And I remember thinking, why is this cool? And then I'm like, well, maybe it's not, that's what he brought to the thing. So here's the other thing.
Yeah.
There's, sorry, go ahead. Advertisements.
Yeah.
About how you could be a lord or a lady by buying a 2-meter area of woods in Scotland, I believe.
I've not
and
seen
I was like,
those.
oh, that's cool. I want to do it. But then I was like, why am I fetishizing? Why am I fetishizing the class system, Ben? Would it not be better to get a certificate that says People's Worker Paul Goody? Wouldn't that be better than Lord Paul Goody?
You are the lord of that land, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Give it to the people.
I saw this.
I do wonder, but
I
yeah,
saw
go
this
ahead.
documentary recently about this artificial island. It's like an old oil rig or an old like security lookout in the North
Yeah,
Atlantic,
Sealand.
where you could if you like live there, you're your own country and you don't have to pay
Yep.
attention to any nautical maritime rules or anything from like either Canada or Britain or whoever owns that part of the North Atlantic.
Yep. Sealand, I believe it's called. Sealand.
Yeah, yeah. It's not where they keep the orcas. It's
You
where you
might
can do whatever you want.
you might find it hard to believe, Ben, but for a while I was kind of obsessed with the idea of starting my own country.
Where are you?
I even took some of the yeah. I was
Freelandia.
gonna declare a part. It was. I believe it was. I believe I was using the word GOG for that. That was my comic strip. I think it might have been Gogland or something like that. Gogland. Um, but it was back when I was a little bit crazy. Here's one of the things that I think about often. I sometimes lament about the fact that my parents didn't let me go to or didn't support my idea to going to Second City when I was out of college. Um, but then I remember also I was super crazy at that time. Like in retrospect, the fact that they didn't let me go and do that might have been less about not wanting me to be a famous improv comic and more about the fact that they were unsure whether or not I would be a danger to myself and others if not supervised.
Yeah, but what did they? Do you think that they had that in mind, as opposed to like, do you think that they thought that you weren't going to succeed because of your mental condition at that state, and not just because it wasn't a good lifestyle, or you'd
Well,
be,
yeah, and that's the thing is I don't think that I don't think that they thought that I wouldn't be able to do well in comedy. I think they thought that I wouldn't be able to do well
in life.
living on my own. Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly. Like I was already in debt when I left college. I had gotten a credit card without them signing for it and just racked up,
Right.
thousands of dollars worth of debt buying musical
Free
equipment
money.
and things like that.
I see many. I
Yeah,
see not many
exactly.
things have changed.
Hey, wait, what? No, I've gotten a lot better, Ben. I
Well,
am
you're probably
actually
not in debt, but you're still buying lots of musical equipment.
no, I well, lots. I'm using a lot of musical
How many
equipment that I
ukuleles do
already
you
had.
own? How many ukuleles do you own,
Okay,
sir?
yeah.
How much was that drum
Ben, this is
machine
the
you were
thing.
talking about
It,
earlier?
dear listener, when I get on some bullshit, I can always plan on Ben to pull me back. No, Ben, this is a lifestyle change that I'm making and I'm committing to. This is absolutely 100% what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And you're like, I give it 3 months,
Oh, right.
whatever, and it usually works out that way.
What was it? Oh,
Because you know me.
was it when you started studying Judaism?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew this was why or not, but my own personal mythos is super important to me. And it's funny because you can say to people, well, I think this, and they're welcoming. They're like, yes, whatever you want, this is great. We really are happy that you're here, and then eventually you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of driving there, and it's and being in the place, and you realize to yourself that you don't have to do it. You were the one that reached out to those. Okay, I'm talking
Right.
about myself.
Yeah.
I don't. I realized that I didn't have to go to those services. They reached. They welcomed me to them, but I was the one that said I wanted to do it. So if I
And
didn't want to do it, I could just stop, and
yeah,
that's
and that's your privilege talking.
what happened. Yeah, it is. It totally is.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, I I I recognize the fact that my whole idea was, well, if other people are going to assume that I'm this guy, I should know what they want this guy to know or to be, so that I can speak to that. And then I realized I lived most of my life not knowing any of this stuff. I can just go back to not knowing it again.
Exactly.
Because
It's a whole lot easier that way.
yeah, it's a lot easier if you can just turn things off when you decide that it's not a big deal.
And not take on the burden that many other people have.
Yes, exactly. And again, there's that whole thing of the Lithuanians still need me. Apparently, they're dying off in record number. Not really dying off. The kids are not interested as much
Not
in
having
any of that. So
not having children.
like, well, yeah, and then the language not being spoken as much in the community in the United States, things like that. Once Duolingo has Lithuanian, I'll add it to the things that I'm studying. Oh, speak about which, I'm still studying Spanish primarily, but I went back because here's the thing, that little green owl is like, hey, you haven't studied Korean in a while, and you've lost all of your Korean.
And you're like,
And I'm
shut
like,
up,
okay,
owl.
fine, I'll go back and get my Korean. Oh, he's there. When you're doing a lesson and you decide that you're gonna break off and go back, Duo starts crying, and it says, "Are you sure you want to quit?" And you're like, "Oh, Dio, no, I guess I'll Duo." I said Dio for a second. Oh, speaking about Dio,
Ronnie James.
hey Betty, come on. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Ronnie James Dio, yeah. That's a JoJo reference also.
Is it?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah.
I've heard of this,
That's
but
a thing.
only through you and Betty.
Well, it looks kind of like I'm wearing a necklace because of my hair blocking off where the ear pods are. Doesn't it seem like a little bit like I'm wearing a
necklaces don't have controls on one side, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna market some just so that
looks like I'm wearing a turtleneck, but this is my mask.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's not a bad. Ben,
Paul,
you have just revolutionized something.
The turtleneck.
If this passed the candle test, I don't think it can. Okay, what's going on, babe? Okay. Did you hear that?
Hey, that's exactly something you need to worry about.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be fine. Hopefully, we'll see though. She's not here yet.
Takes a while to run down to the basement.
We're already a little bit over time, and we're headed towards the end. So I think this might be one of the segments where we actually end with Betty.
Hey, yeah. Usually she pops in and
ever
out
shows
really
up
quickly.
Yep. Oh, here she comes. Okay, I'm holding Edward so that he doesn't bark at her. Let's see. Hey, Betty. So I want to warn you before you step in, we're on a Zoom call, so you would be on video. Oh, it's Betty.
Oh,
hey, there she is.
Hi.
Hey. So, Betty, we're almost to the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
How are things?
They're good. We just finished part 3 of JoJo a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We need to start watching the new.
Yeah, we need to start watching part 4 now.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty exciting, Ben.
Yeah, let me know how it
Betty has
goes.
braces now.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Braces. I can, yeah. How long do those need to be on?
About halfway down her teeth.
No, I mean
we did it! Yay! I think that's where we end it.
All right. And with that,
thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Yeah. So, this was a great It was nice seeing you. So great as far as that goes. Not a lot of participation
No,
from the rest of the internet.
nope. Well,
So
maybe
maybe
next time we'll tell people we were doing this.
maybe next week we'll have the call-in number
Oh God, that's gonna be on me,
and
isn't
tell
it?
people we're doing it. Who knows?
All right. Alrighty.
Everything's on you, Ben.
Well, hey, but until
Hey,
then,
and I appreciate it. Thank you for your help.
yeah.
Yes.
Until then, I hope you do me a solid and keep it wrong.
Ben, do us all a favor and keep it wrong.
All right. I will talk
to you next week.
Talk to you later. Wherever the camera is, right there.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Oh yeah. Talk to you later. And then room tone.